Years ago I was at a school and we were doing a court competition with teenagers, and I was standing alongside a High Court judge, and the children had crocheted badges on their lapels that they had actually made themselves. And we had that whole conversation about nimble fingers makes nimble minds, and the relationship between the very craft-based elements of sensory motor development and then higher cognitive skills later on. And it's the transparency of that curriculum methodology and the inner approach from Waldorf teachers that parents need to know. Nothing is random here. It's all purposeful and it's all geared towards children's healthy well-being and development. Welcome to the kindergarten area of the school. It's, as you can see, very strong in terms of its natural environment. And the development of forest schools over recent decades has really been something of a nod to Waldorf education. So the environment here is really special. It's quite grove-like in many ways, and when we come into the actual buildings themselves, the real importance of aesthetics and materials is there to help the children feel safe and held in their world, and safe and held in nature as well. So there's very few aspects of plastics or artificial materials, and all of the colour schemes are again very, very natural as well. Yeah, so the real difference between a Steiner Waldorf kindergarten and many other early years provision will be the difference in the quality of materials, so very much natural materials, natural wood, and also the colour schemes that are used. You'll not see very much plastic, and you will see very few primary colours. So I think where we are now in the centre of the courtyard, we're starting to look at some of the graphics suites and the photographic areas here. We're going to go on to the craft areas, both metalwork, woodwork and pottery. So woodwork extends through many of the year groups in the curriculum, and it goes from basic making of bowls to more advanced manufacturing elements. It's also, and increasingly, featuring elements of sustainability. So not only looking at the craft of woodwork, but also the journey of wood and how we relate to manufacturing and sustainability. The canoe that you see there was made by a 14-year-old and is indicative of the level of, I think, project-based education that we really focus on, whether it's academic or craft-based. The setting of children challenges in terms of making something specific that they're interested in is one of the bedrocks of what we do within Waldorf. So with pottery as well, there's often a journey for middle school students, not only in terms of making pots, but also of actually going and collecting the clay from the environment and from the landscape, so that there is a continuous line of production and the expression of art about creating a world. That level of metaphor and pedagogy in terms of educational philosophy is never talked about with the children. It designs the whole curriculum. So it's why woodwork will be placed in a certain year, why metalwork in another year, why we talk about revolution with 13-year-olds. You're never having that level of meta conversation with the teenagers themselves. Certainly have it with parents, and certainly in parents' evenings it's really, really important that we as teachers and educators are sharing the overall developmental journey, because there's often an aha moment for parents in terms of that level of insight. It also then helps build the bonds of community in terms of a learning community and how teachers and parents can work together. So we're just passing our outdoor pizza kitchen there and heading towards the hockey field and the sports hall. Sports and movement are central to Waldorf education, and there's been a tradition at Wynstones of basketball that we are intending to sustain, to continue and also to grow. So come have a look. This is one of the strongest, well, this is one of the best basketball courts in the county. Come. So here a rather unusual and very wood-laden sports hall that was designed and built by parents some 10 years ago, and this will again resound to the sound of basketballs. So welcome to one of our classrooms, and we are currently in the process of allocating learning spaces for each of the classes in terms of the students that will start with us this coming September. Another of our classrooms, and one of the things to say specifically at this point in education's journey is that the Ofsted requirements for a very, very clear intention for a curriculum is really, it really sits well with the Stein and Waldorf model in terms of being really clear about what we're aiming for in terms of child development. So first of all, there's that sense of inner discovery for a child, of discovering who they are, of what their interests are, and developing their interests in terms of connection to the world. There is a goal of balance in terms of not just being academic or active, but that quality of head, hands and heart all together, and ultimately being well-rounded people who know themselves and know their value and also know their values. There is a very important thread of well-being and resilience, because on that foundation, students and more graduates of the school are able to know their place in the world, but also know their contribution to society as well. I hope this has offered something of an insight into the essence of our school. We're very excited about reopening in September 2021. In the meantime, we are an open house, and I look forward to welcoming many of you to visit, either on site in a socially distanced manner or through Zoom. Thanks for watching.